Yay, awesome.
Hello, everybody. We've got Heidi.
Heidi. Oh, so excited to talk to Heidi today and share her amazing journey and, all the things she's done with you.
So, okay, Kirsty has this ability to go out to these random places and find golden people that just fit exactly where we need to be moving towards in our business. And I used to kind of think, Kirsty, what are you doing? Like, why are you off chatting to people at 11 o'clock at night all the time? And then we did our personality profiles and I realized that that's what lights you up. And I just thought I'll shut up and just let her do what she needs to do. And one of those times, she met you.
I think
met is a loose term.
Well, I think people that do a really good job at authentically connecting and putting out who they are, the same as that's what we try to do, they also attract in people like us where, I was just inspired by you and your story and everything you had done and really keen to kind of get to know you more. So I reached out and one thing led to another and it's just been beautiful to kind of add you into our circle of influence and somebody that we get to, throw ideas at and get your thoughts because you've been and done so much of what we aspire to do. So we're so grateful to chat with you today.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful that you had met me. You were stalking me. That's okay. I love it. And I'm so grateful to have you guys in my life. It's just, we have a lot of fun, don't we?
We do. Now, we I don't think could do Heidi's business justice by actually explaining what you do because you've done a lot and you do a lot in your life and you somehow seem to fit all of it in. So do you want to tell everyone exactly what you do and how you help people? Because it's a full life, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Like when you ask that, my brain just goes a bit but I just go, what do I do? But to cut the long story short, I guess about 10 years ago, I decided to go into a proper business. I went and bought a hearing clinic in Hobart. My husband and I moved down here. We bought this tiny little hole in the wall, which is the hearing clinic. And we decided that, okay, we're going to grow this. So we grew it to 7 clinics within 4 years across the state. And then, prior to us having the business expand to its maximum capacity, I found out I was pregnant. And then I started pretty much, I'm not allowed to swear here, am I? I started panicking. Watch the language. Started panicking and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to run this mammoth operation, have staff? And I think we had about 13,000 clients at the time. And be a mum. And so I thought, oh my God, I need some help. And I got into coaching. I got a coach. I didn't know what coaching was. He basically came in and said, you need to put systems in place. You need to really figure this out. And so I did that, systemized everything, even like how to empty the bins, everything. I just went a bit nuts because I think the pregnancy hormones are running high. So I was just obsessed with this idea of cloning myself. So within 18 months, I was working 3 to 6 hours a week, still running the business, still very much part of it. And then I realized what a great impact having those systems were. And I realized how much that could help other people if I taught how to do that as well, because time is everything. We always talk about success and money, but really it's the time that you want and the freedom that you want. So that's pretty much my story in a nutshell, I guess.
It really gives me goosebumps because it's such a great example of learning, like realizing, because we don't know, we say it all the time, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And it's one thing to build a business to be really successful and earning money and enabling you to do a lot of things, but it does make you stop to think, is this ultimately success to me? Is this ultimately what I want? Or do I want something, a little bit different? And then you realize, okay, there's something else I can learn that can make my life a little bit better. And so it's super inspiring. So that probably leads us into the first question maybe as to why are you guys like before you moved down to Tasmania, obviously part of it was lifestyle as well, because I think you were in Melbourne. Is that right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll go a bit into that. Melbourne was, you know, I'm a party girl. I love to shop. So moving down to Hobart at the time wasn't really for lifestyle because it was so quiet here. Like I was just like, I kept saying to my husband, where is the secret shopping strip? There must be one. It's locals, they're hiding it from me. So we would literally, when we were not at work, drive around to find this local secret shopping strip, which does not exist. But after becoming a mum, definitely lifestyle. But yeah, it was going from very hectic corporate business background to a very quiet life into it on our own.
So in Melbourne, you were working for other people, weren't you?
I was a sales rep. It was corporate, flying everywhere. So it was a massive lifestyle shift.
Yes. And what brought about that? What made you guys think, no, we want to, like, had you found the business before you moved to Tassie? Or did you?
So it goes back a bit. I guess I've always been in business. Like even at a young age, I've always been entrepreneurial. I used to sell little handmade cards at high school. So that was always at the back of my mind, you know, the whole financial freedom thing. The thing that really gave me the push was that I took a gap year after uni, my first degree, and I went and worked for a superannuation firm. And the one thing they kept harping in you is that there's not enough money. There's not enough money in superannuation. You're basically not going to have enough to retire. And that just scared the beep out of me. And so that was always at the back of my mind before I became an audiologist, that I was going to work for myself. So that was always the push. So it's not like so much that we woke up and said, oh, we're going to have our own business. That was always on the cards for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people have that in them as well, don't they?
Yes.
That you've just got this, and a lot of people repress it.
Yeah.
They go and work in a job
and
then wake up one day and just think, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, sometimes it is a wake up, and then other times, like you say, it's you're comfortably going along and enjoying work, you're being fulfilled and you're able to shop and do all the things you're wanting to do. Courts and I often laugh about pre-kids and how, man, I used to have money and I used to just go and eat where I wanted all the time.
5-star restaurants.
Easy. Yeah. Where's that life gone? But, success does look different at different stages.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's really important to have a think about what success looks like to you, from now to later. And
I absolutely think, like, being an entrepreneur, it's a mindset. It's almost in your DNA. So if you've got that, even if you have the best job and you love it and the people that you work with, there is something. There's something that keeps calling you. And unless you answer that, there's always going to be that discomfort. And that's kind of the push of saying, okay, you need to go on your own and do your own thing for a bit.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, go on. Yep, go on.
I was going to say, like, in the stalking that we did of you, we do know, actually, since we've got to know you a bit more, we do know that you've had some struggles which we can talk about in the early stages and getting to the point where you are now. But before we talk about that, I'm actually keen to really look at what success looks like for you, because I know that that's morphed for you.
Yes.
And you've had a lot of picks and runs on the board last year, haven't you? So what does success, I guess, look like for you now?
Yeah, that's really interesting because, it started off with wanting the cars and the money and the designer stuff and just going, I can have that, I can do it. So it was all very much, it started off being out there and it was very financial. And, I'm Gen X, so work hard, play hard. I wanted all that. And then, as you guys were saying, once you've had kids, that changed. I just want to be able to sleep for 8 hours, And I don't care. The world's ending. I'm just in my sleep. And then when you get to this stage, because I have sold my business, I didn't go into that part of my story. I have sold my business, so I achieved what I set out to do. It changes. This financial stress is not a massive thing in my brain anymore, and it's the freedom of going, okay, well, what's going to make me happy today? What am I going to wake up doing that makes me happy? And it has changed to the impact on other people. Like, I have a local networking group here in Hobart, and it's a new group and it's growing, but it's just to see that when I post something on Facebook or social media or something that I've said, and then someone's come back to me and said, oh, because you said that, I'm now doing this, and getting the satisfaction out of that. It's more, to me, that's what success is for me now. And, you know, I know, I think you're referring to a post that I did about all this stuff that I did last year, but it's kind of empty in some ways, that they're just badges, and it's just a list, and I don't celebrate enough what I have done, because to me they're just like, okay, it's shifted to something else. So that was then and this is now. What else can I do?
Yeah, that's right. So when we look at the struggles that you had, I'm even referring to what we talked about before with the systemization. I am assuming that's probably one of the biggest realizations you've had in business in regards to, you know, well, I'll ask you, what is one of the struggles that you found in business earlier on that you had to get through to be able to grow or get to that next level?
I think it's twofold. Like, so this is my idea of it. You know, when you first start off in business, it is about putting your head down, you know, working 14-hour days and doing everything yourself, and being able to kind of put that ego aside. And, you know, coming from corporate, you put the ego aside, you get your hands dirty and you do what you need to do to make your business successful. The problem is, once you get to about the 3 or 4 year stage, if you keep hold of that mindset, your business won't grow anymore, because it's just you who can do it. So business owners talk about cloning themselves a lot. If only I can find someone just like me. And often they don't realize that they can't find anyone like them because they haven't let go. So the biggest struggle I had at that 3 to 4 year mark was to let go of the fact that I'm the only one who can do anything. And then to realize that you need to change your mindset, or the way that you look at the world in, okay, I've done all this stuff because of all the skills I have. Now I've got to go and pass it on to someone else. And how am I going to do that? So yeah, just really realizing that you're not going to be able to clone yourself, but you can pass on the stuff that you're good at to other people to help them grow. And in doing that, you can then build a really good team. And then your business will grow further, because you can't grow it by yourself.
So one of the things that we actually spoke to Heidi about to begin with was the fact that we needed to leverage and outsource, because we were doing exactly that, right? And we still are to a certain extent, in that it's kind of like that, the juggle of, okay, well, what do you actually give to other people when you're so embroiled in your business? So I guess, I think one of the things that stuck by me, and I can't remember if you told me this or if someone else has told me this, Heidi, but when you outsource to begin with, the person is never going to be exactly like you.
Or as good as you.
Yeah. Or as good as you.
In that, the way you would do it.
Absolutely.
So do you kind of have to get to the point where you think, okay, well, I'm going to outsource this, and it might be a little bit crappier than what I would have done with my really high standards. But the trade-off is, with my really high standards, it might have taken me 6 hours to do it, and this person's going to do it in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like parenting. It's like watching your kid tie a shoelace. So you could go in there and say, hey, go tie that shoelace now, because we're leaving in 5 minutes. Or you can go, okay, well, I'm going to run a little bit late, but it's the experience of them learning to do it by themselves. The feeling they have when they've done it, the achievement, and then what else can I bring to the table when you've allowed someone the space to grow. Like, it's the same thing. The best thing that ever happened to me as a businesswoman was having children, because I realized then, if I looked at my business and my staff and my team as if they're my kids, you know, it's easy, because you give your kids the space.
Yeah, that's such a great example. And because you do realize then, as time goes on, you don't even have to ask them to do their shoelace, because they come out with their shoes on and you're like, oh my God, you've already done it.
Yeah. But, and the thing is, because you've created that space and you've created that expectation that I'm going to give you room to grow, and I expect you to grow, and I expect you to bring something else to the table that I can't see, your business goes into a totally different direction. Like, before we sold the business, you know, I would say probably 60% of the direction of where the business was going came from my team and not from me, because they've seen opportunities. They know what they love to do and what they're good at, and we've expanded in those directions. So they may not be areas that I would have personally gone through, but it still made me money. Probably made me more money than I did if I tried to clone them all to be mini me's.
You know, this is interesting. I was talking to my husband about this the other day in that, so we've just brought a launch strategist on to our team, as you know, Heidi. And I keep feeling bad that she's doing the job.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, and the reason I feel bad is because it's my worst nightmare to do that job. Like I'm sitting there thinking, oh,
I don't want to do that, but she actually loves it because she's right. Well, it's what she's really good at, and all the detail stuff and the system stuff is something she really likes. So
instead of feeling bad, empower her to do her best and support her and be grateful.
Together, we'll all do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we're all when you think about Tim, we all come into it for different reasons. Like I've come into your life for a different reason that you guys have come into mine, and we're all different. And you know, I hate systems. It's funny when I tell people that, like they go, "Oh, you're the systems delegation queen," and I'm like, I can't stand it, you know. So, but I'm more a big picture thinker. I go, okay, we need systems. I'm going to write the first few. I remember when I first started it, one of my team members, and she's very detail oriented. She loves writing policies, and well, she didn't know how. So I taught her how to do it. Suddenly she's in charge of my whole operation. So she's feeling great. She's doing what she's loved. I'm just going, thank God I don't have to do it. But it's just realizing that this is your view of the world and it's not anybody else's. So how can you leverage that? Other people.
And I think regardless of whether, you know, it's your own business, because there's a certain number of people that are probably listening where they're a one-man band, that's just their business, and maybe they have somebody just part-time doing a bit, or whether people are working for someone, or you've got a team of people where they're actually just all staff. So they're not entrepreneurs, they're staff that are doing what they need to do in the team. Everybody wants to feel like they are a valuable asset to whatever they are involved in, and however they're contributing to the space that they are working.
People want to create stuff. Everyone wants to create something new. They want to be part of something that creates something that's not existed before and is successful. So whether not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, like a lot of my staff will say to me, I don't want to do what you do. It's crazy. I don't want that. I just want a paycheck every month, every, you know, fortnight. And I get that, but they still want to create stuff. You look at a kid, they want to create stuff. That hasn't changed.
I tell you what, when people say that to me, in my head I'm like, and then one day you'll have kids, and then you don't want to. Because someone had that exact conversation.
It's funny. People used to say when I was pregnant, they'll come up to my husband like, "Good luck to you."
Yeah.
I'm like, darling, I've got a business, okay? I'll be fine. Children will be easy.
That's it. That's actually a good point. And I think in the spirit of what lights you up and makes you successful, it's probably worth us telling you, you know, the stories we were telling you just then about, you know, getting this person on board to help us with our launch and really actually embracing the fact that we've got a virtual assistant on tap that we can actually ask for help. You helped us get our mindset around that, Heidi. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so grateful for that. No, I really am. I love watching you guys work. It's just so fast and dynamic, and I love the ideas that you guys have, and
we're all about ideas, and we've got to bring ourselves down to the ground and go, right, so how do we actually implement those things and whatever.
I love my virtual assistant because she grounds me.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh, let's do this, let's go. And she'll be like, yeah, but what are we doing with that from last week? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I better finish that off.
So, you know, everyone has a role to play.
I have to say, one of the really good tips that you gave to us early on that we are in the process of probably implementing was find somebody for 5 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours or even full time, depending on where you're getting them or who they are or whatever, when you think you can't afford it and you think you don't have enough for them, and employ them every week for that time. And then find stuff to give them because you're already paying them. And that's huge.
That's a real challenge I've noticed now coaching online entrepreneurs compared to when I had a shop business, because when you have a physical shop, you do employ people when there's no work with the promise that you need to have the resource there ready for the work, and it's my job to do my marketing and get people in to fill their hours. That's a point that's missing in, you know, online entrepreneurship, because there's not a lot of money to invest. But it's the same concept. You know, if you create that space, then it will fill. You know, I always think about money in terms of money mindset. It's like, you know, if you dig that hole in the sand, you know, the hole, you know, in the sand on the beach, the water will fill in. And it's the same with resources. You've got to create that space. And definitely, you know, making the commitment to hire an assistant part-time or full-time. You know, I like to say I would suggest full-time, because the more you find for them to do, the more it grows your business, the more is being done in your business.
Right. You actually give yourself space to grow, and probably more space to be out of the business, or
exactly.
Not because you love more of what you're doing, because the stuff you don't like, you're giving to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking to you, I think, last night, Heidi, about...
I get nervous when you say stuff like that.
About the fact that I used to have a job
yes.
where after I had my first child, and I was asked, basically, would I be open to going back to be a role in middle management to help the therapy team. And I was doing it on a 2-day-a-week basis, and part of my role was marketing. So what you've just said is actually really, it's actually probably healed me a bit, this conversation, in light of what we talked about yesterday, in that I really didn't have enough hours in the day to do what was expected because I was payroll, I was clinical supervisor, I was doing a lot of different hats. And basically, I just used to fly in the door, sit at my desk, not talk to anyone, not eat, be on the computer paying people, answering emails, and then go home. And marketing, which takes effort, and customer service and going out and meeting and greeting people, I didn't have the time and space to be able to do that. But what you've just said has resonated for me, in the sense that if I had been given, you know, the option of having someone assisting me with those admin tasks that I really didn't need to be doing, I could have filled the therapy rooms. And it's the same with our online business, isn't it? So delegate to the people that can help you with the admin tasks that aren't your zone of genius, and focus on getting customers through the door.
And it's kind of...
When you own the business, you have got to, even if you're by yourself, you've got to become the CEO. You've got to be able to see stuff. Like, if that was the case, whoever above you should have seen that. Oh, there are tasks here that are admin tasks. This is how business become multi-billion-dollar business. They start off with one extra person and it grows. But it's inability to see that, you know, and then wanting to save money. You know, you can't make money by saving money. Because you're coming from the mindset of not having enough.
It's moving forward and then pulling back a little bit, and maybe where you're at, and then moving forward again and pulling back a bit. I always think of it in relation to sport, where when we were training, often we would be taught a new skill, or we'd be tweaked on the skill we were learning because we were not doing it right. So you'd be worse at it before you got much better at it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you've got to go through the pain of it not being as good until for the reward of it being far improved after. So it's the same. Like, there's so many different things in business and life where we have to go through
you have to go through the hard stuff. You know, people talk to me about, oh, you know, look at all the amazing stuff you've done, it's insane, and oh, how could you work 3 hours a week, and what the hell, you know? But it's like, but I've made the mistakes. I've invested stuff in marketing and stuff that didn't work. You know, I've been not the best employer sometimes. I've come out of a meeting with someone and probably not been the best person I could be, but that's all part of the learning, and it's not, you know, being too hung up about those and seeing us as they are. That's what's made me the person I am today, and that's all part of the journey. So embracing those are important too.
Yeah, you remember getting your hands dirty. Like,
exactly.
Everything we do is the apprenticeship of life, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
In business, you know, we're constantly moving forward and growing and expanding and stuffing up along the way. But next level stuff, we have the same sorts of struggles at any stage in business. So
absolutely, you have to allow yourself the ability to make mistakes and to own that and say that's okay. You know, we see so much on social media. You know, I follow so many entrepreneurs, and it's all hyped up, positive, and it doesn't work like that. That's not the real story. The other stuff is important too.
That's
right.
We know. Oh, yeah, we know.
Okay, so I'm assuming that along the way, there's been some sort of defining moment for you that has kind of gone, all right, line in the sand, this is now, it's put you on a trajectory to where you be. So do you have a defining moment?
That's a really hard question. I think becoming pregnant, so we tried for babies for like a couple of years. I actually thought I wasn't going to end up having any kids. I was on the IVF program. So really, I think the major defining moment for me from switching to working my butt off and like a crazy person to I'm not going to do any work at all, I'm just going to be a mum, was when I actually got pregnant. I thought, okay, what is life actually about? Is it about the cars, the houses, and, you know, the list of letters behind my name, or is it about something else? So I think that was the major one for me, to want to change who I am. And it was a 360 change for me, you know, because being able to go from doing everything myself and just staying up all night and just forgetting about everything else, because I have this ability to shut everything out, to going, hold on a second, I've got to be this other person now. That's a major change for me, I think.
Yeah. And, you know, children do ground you, don't they? I've got a friend who has quite a successful business, and she's also got a toddler. And what she has said to me numerous times after watching my honest posts about my life on social media.
Mum Thug Life.
Yeah, hashtag Mum Thug Life. I swear there's like a whole in my head with that. Anyway,
there's a book, there's something. Come down, Courts. Yeah.
This is my VA telling me what are we doing this week? But she actually had this amazing conversation with me once that she said, you know, I don't understand how I can pull in like a $250,000 tender and then I go home and I cry because my child won't eat their freaking breakfast.
Yeah.
And I feel like such a failure because he's crying on the floor and I don't know what to do about that situation right now.
Yeah.
I'll just go and hide. Yeah. So, and that's the juxtaposition, isn't it? It's like you can be a high-flying corporate, extremely successful business person, but your family, those kids don't care about that.
No. In fact, you speak to most teachers, and most school teachers will tell you, I can get a class of 30 kids to do exactly what I need them to do pretty much all day, every day, and I can't get my kids to pack their bag and be out in the car on time or eat their breakfast or eat their dinner. Or like, parenting your child is so different to your job, even when your job is getting kids to do what you need them to do. Because you ask most parents and they'll say, God, I could never be a teacher, because their only experience is their own children. I can't get mine to do it, so how do they? But it's different. We know our kids look at our teachers differently. It's like, I've got to have that in tomorrow. The teacher needs it in tomorrow. You're like, it's just so funny that our perception of everything in the world is based on where we are here now in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very funny.
Okay, so we've talked about some of your successes or what you consider to be successful, and also some of the struggles, defining moments. If you had to leave a legacy, right, what do you want to be known for? Don't laugh. This is a serious question, Heidi.
Yeah, sorry. That is a really good question.
Know you for something.
What do I want to be known for? So I think this again, it's tied into the success question, because it has shifted for me. I think right now I want to be known for someone who inspires people to actually make a difference in their business and to kind of look outside of themselves a little bit. I think there's a lot of, I must be successful and I must make this much a month and my business needs to do blah, blah. But I think if they shifted that to what changes or what difference that's going to make for their clients, they're going to find everything will just fall into place. So I guess I want to be known for that, to us, the person who says, hey, you just need to focus on this and make it simple, rather than getting too bogged down on kind of everything that, you know, they get influenced by.
Yeah.
Because it is a noisy online world at the moment.
Yeah.
It is.
You know?
It is very noisy.
I think people fall into the trap of comparisonitis, and this has been a bit of a theme where, you know, just because somebody else wants to have, like, in the cryptocurrency space.
I was wondering if you were going to bring this up.
Yeah. As all the listeners won't know, but Heidi, Kirsty and I have
been delving into understanding the blockchain and the impact it'll have on business in the future. And
well, I was going to talk about the dance moves.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was.
I know, talk about that as well.
The music video.
You know, how can we make it fun through
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, in that world, there's a lot of masculine energy, right? And it can be coming from females as well as male.
Yes.
But it's very much about the Lambos and the friggin' like mooning and
Well, there's, you know, in that space, there's a more concentrated, I think, range of people that want this get rich quick, right?
yeah.
And that's what the Lambo whole thing comes from. It's people thinking, oh, if I get into this, I can become rich. And the problem is, even if you gave them $1 million tomorrow, regardless of whether it was through crypto, their life wouldn't probably be fulfilled. Like, they'd probably argue that point, but it doesn't actually come through however you get it in a hurry. Like, it's like you said, going through the pain and the learnings and doing it, it's so much more satisfying.
That's the wealth in what you get, because when I sold my business, the money sat in my account for a year. I bought a pair of shoes. I'm looking at it going, okay, great, now what? But I didn't know what to do with the money. It was just a number on a page. And I had the worst year of my life last year. And, you know, it's so funny when you say that, and people say, well, you can get off saying that, you don't need to worry about bills or anything like that. But I felt so empty, because that money had no inherent meaning in it. When I went to work every day in my business and I made a difference in people's lives, and I saw my team grow, and I saw money coming in, but in terms of not getting more money, but more the growth of it and creating something, there was joy out of that. And all that was gone for me when I sold the business, and it was like, yeah, I've got a pile of money. Great. You know, it sat in my bank account for 12 months. I didn't do anything with it until I reconnected with, okay, back to what my purpose is and what am I going to do now, and how can I leverage on that success to help other people. It was totally empty. So
powerful message to finish on, I think, with, you know, in regards to success and what people need or want. You know, there are people starting out in business that are either moving out of corporate or looking to go back to work because they need to now bring some money in. So they need the survival money. But just remember that as you start to get that, you know, there's lots of other stuff that comes with it, and it ultimately isn't about the money. Once you've got your everyday needs covered,
absolutely,
life is about so much more than that.
Receiving large sums of money, I find, actually puts you in a position where you can actually feel stressed out, in a sense, pressure yourself to go, okay, I don't want to stuff this up. Like this doesn't happen very often, potentially, for people. So how do I use this to do good? And then what happens is, I think people go, how do I do good? What's my purpose? Oh my God, I'm having a midlife crisis now. So I'm assuming that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. And like, I would suggest what, you know, Kirsty's saying, it takes 2 years to really set up a business. And I don't care whether you do that in your life, online or anywhere. You know, one of my biggest sayings, don't quit your jobs yet. You need to leverage. You need to set an income you know, goal of say, okay, when I make $500 for my business, I can drop a day off or whatever that is. But you need to kind of balance that rather than going all for nothing. I didn't go all for nothing. I saved up a whole year's salary before I went into business for both me and my husband. So, you know, I knew that whole year that was the time I had to break even and then make. So I had 12 months to break even and make a profit. You need to give yourself that space.
And it's good if you give yourself some buffer of some money to be able to outsource it, you know, because you're either going to do it on a really, really lean and be slower. Like the reality is it'll be slower to do it. Or you do invest some into the learning and the outsourcing and everything that you need to do to be able to then do it a bit faster.
Yeah, you've got to work it to suit your circumstance. You know, I went to business before I had kids, so it was a bit easier. Like, I didn't have to feed and clothe them, but it depends on your lifestyle and your circumstance as well. But yeah, I mean, even shutting out sometimes social media, I think it's important, because when even if you hear my story, people watching this now going, oh, I want to do, there is a hype in that because you're only hearing the good stuff, but you have to be sensible about it. You know, there's also a bit floating around about, well, do you need a business degree to succeed? I don't know if you've guys seen that. And no, you don't, but you do need the knowledge. You do need to go back to some of those basics of business as well to reapply that, because there's so many buzzwords floating around online. You know, you guys got the moon and you do need the process behind it. Mindset's really important, but you still need the process behind it, I think.
Yeah. Plus the value of experienced people that you can reach out to. Like it's, you know, rather than trying to do the mistakes all on your own, like reach out to people that have done it before you and are successful and learn from them.
I've got one more question. Now, this is going to be throwing something into, but I'm interested to know. So you talk about a 3-hour work week, which is one of the reasons why I love you, because as you know, since I've been 16 years old, I think, I decided, how can I do the least amount of work for the most amount of joy and income so that I can go and do the things that I want to do? I basically just would love to be a full-time philanthropist or actually go out and help people.
That's my dream too.
Yeah. And so for you, what is an ideal work week? Like, is it working 12 hours a day? Is it realistic to be able to work 3 hours a week? What happens
right now with the 2 young girls you've got? What is that? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I've done it. I'm certainly, because I sold my business, I'm back at work for a few years as part of the sale process. So yeah, that's a question I've been asking myself a lot too, because what am I going to do after this little transitional life that I've got? And my answer is, I've done it before, I'm going to do it again. And it's totally realistic. The biggest resistance you have, I remember reading the 4-hour work week, and that's the inspiration behind it. But that was all about online sales, and which, you know, wasn't something that aligned with me. But you can do it. You can so easily begin by cutting an hour out each day. You know, and to-do lists are so important, but your to-do list should have, and I think I've told you guys this before, you should have at least 3 things on there that you're going to delegate. So the top 3 things, or the first thing that you do every day on your to-do list should be something that creates a system for someone else to do it. And if you start just doing that every day, you will find that list starts to become a delegation list. And then before long, you'll be like, what else? And there's nothing else, because you're actually teaching your team how to do it as well, because they go, oh, what is she doing? I'm going to do that too. And so you have this team of people that just are really good at delegating. You start to get more people in down the bottom, I guess, bottom tier of doing the actual admin work. So it is achievable. And, you know, the biggest resistance is what we've been told how we should live. This is how we're told, you know, like, I always had an issue with the whole middle class thing. You know, the middle class holds society together. You basically, you're born, you work, you go to school, you work, and then you retire 65, and then hopefully you don't have some health problem because you've been sitting on your butt all your working life, and then you cark it, man. It's just a pretty shit house. So yeah, my biggest thing is, how do I get out of the middle class? How do I get out of that? And it's what we've been told. This is what life looks like. You don't have to accept that.
No.
You don't have to. You know, I'm not the only one doing this. So it's just not, it's been shown to be different, or like even in this interview, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's not. Everyone can do this.
Yeah, and that's important to know. Now, when everyone is sitting here going, okay, well, I want to do what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'd love to work 3 hours a week. How do we do that? Now, you have a book, don't you, that you were going to give a chapter?
Yeah. So I wrote a book called Mother's Void for mothers. It's really for anybody, but it runs through a lot of motherhood themes, because obviously that's very available to me. And it's about how to achieve financial freedom. So I'm giving away a sample chapter of that book. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Heidi will probably email that out to you in a couple of weeks if you don't opt in now to get that. And we really look forward to your feedback, everyone, as well. So feel free to contact us and give us your thoughts about this interview as well.
Yeah. Wow. So great. I keep sitting here thinking, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that.
I've got
and I'm just like, okay, we need to let the listeners go. But thank you so much. It's it's so great to just be able to, you know, ponder these thoughts and these, you know, what we've got to look forward to, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you having me.
See you, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.